What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host and captain and dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio is the one, the only, JJ Purdo. Well, no. He's the nerd dad himself, Zach Keenan. You're the one and only JJ Purdo.
Can I play the part of Adrian Holmes tonight?
No, Adrian's actually in the chat, so you can't be him because he's here.
Adrian's so cool, though. I feel like I'm kind of rocking tonight. Like the beard's on point.
Yeah, there you go. I don't see Nate here, so you can be Nate if you want. You can pretend to be Boba Fletch.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Not really. No. He's a little too thin. I don't think I can pull that off.
Too thin, too skinny.
Yeah.
Dude, how's it going? You weren't on last episode. It's been a while since we talked.
It feels like it's been like forever, and it's weird because you haven't been taking any of my calls at work lately. I call on a daily basis, and usually you pretend like you're way too busy. And we actually have a camera in the office, so I see you a lot of times throwing pencils towards the ceiling. So I know for a fact you really don't. Yeah, you're not really doing much. And like the phone rings, you kind of look over at it and proceed to keep doing your little pencil trick, which you're getting quite good at.
I'm getting really good at it. Yeah, I'm getting really good at that. I had a lot of practice in elementary school. I got really good at it there. And I've just only perfected it in my late 20s. So feeling pretty good.
I'm proud of you. Garrett. But again, you have not been answering any of my calls, hanging out with me. I've come over to the house a couple of different times. I love what you did with the furniture, by the way. I was looking through the window. And the reason that I was coming to visit is I know that Mom and Dad Morlang are in town. Bill and Jenny, or we like to call them Bill and Mrs. Morlang, are in visiting. And I find it really funny that I've said like 3 or 4 times, Garrett, your mom and dad, they've been gone for so long and they're in Papua New Guinea and now they're back. Dude, I think we need to come over and let them see a little JJ, have a little JJ interaction. And you told me slow it down. They just got here. There's decompression time and you're just too much.
Yeah. There's definitely a time and place for everything. And now is not the time and place, I don't think. But no, man. Yeah, it's been good having them. They kicked me out of my office. That's why I'm here in my garage. Check out my sweet car. I still got my lights, but now I'm just I got my car in the background instead of cool video game stuff. Yeah.
So funny enough, I actually looked and saw your car and your lights when I logged in. You weren't in the frame, so all I saw was your lights and your car, and I was like legitimately. I told you this when you came back on. I said, "Dude, for just a moment, I didn't realize you were in the garage. I was like, why does he have some kind of a life-size model of a car in his room? That's weird. Is that one of those green screen CGI things or something?
Joke's on you. The whole thing's a green screen. No.
Right? I thought maybe the Patreon supporters have been supporting, and I know you're always funneling all that money into your own personal account. So I just assumed that, you were just blowing the big bucks or maybe we were giving away a car on this week's episode. I don't really know because I never read the show notes. To be completely honest, I never read the show notes. So I'm one of those guys. I can just work better off the seat of my pants if I happen to be wearing any that day.
Which today you're not, so please stay seated. Man, the chat's popping off
here.
The
hard way.
What's that?
I said you had to learn that the hard way earlier when I stood up to adjust the lighting.
Yeah, I'm glad we got that.
You'll never be the same. That shame. Yeah. That shame goes away after 2 weeks. That's what I'm told.
Great. That's too long. Man, the chat is popping off here. If you guys don't know, we can actually watch our episodes recording live over at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys. We got Angel out there. Garrett do be looking handsome, though. Thank you, Angel. Thank you. Just got a haircut over the weekend. Feeling good. I got Kajoma out there. Got Penguin. Got Homeboy. Got Zero Faints. We got a bunch of awesome people out there.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us on the Twitch stream. But hold on, Angel, check it out. Yeah, okay. So Garrett looks handsome. You're a very good looking guy. If you go for that kind of thing, guys and with your little beards and your skinny kind of rat beak faces. But I feel Like that was a little hurtful because you said that he looked handsome as opposed to like you both look handsome. And wow, JJ, you happen to look 3 times more handsome or stunning or striking. I mean, something of that nature, like a compliment towards JJ. And I've been really working on shaping this. This is a process, and I've been working on this whole beard thing to get it looking like the fine sculpture that it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Okay.
there was one person in the chat. Let's see. I saw your name mentioned somewhere. Oh, here it is. Adrian, homeboy says, JJ. Now that's a name I've not heard in many years, which is
I know.
Quote from Star Wars. You probably didn't know that, but
of course I knew.
Of course you knew that. Of course you knew that.
I knew that was from one of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah. Oh, but okay, now it's popping off here. Penguin says, JJ, you are beautiful. And Kajoma says, man, JJ, the lighting looks so good. So.
Thank you, Kajoma. Thank you, Penguin. Penguin is amazing. Yeah, you're right. I do look beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Okay. How about we talk about something more productive? Like, sorry, were you going to say something? Were you going to?
No. I just want to hear more. I want to hear more about me, but that's, whatever.
I know you do. Oh, shoot. I didn't finish the show notes. Today we're talking about a new Nintendo Switch Pro, maybe. How Xbox added 20 Bethesda games to Game Pass today, and a little Halo Infinite update. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our super gamer producer, Adrian, the homeboy. Holmes, shout out to homeboy in the chat. He's chilling with us. Thanks for joining us tonight. A little later, you're going to get Super Indie Boys. He recorded one, sent it over to me. I am too scared to run it on the stream tonight. Maybe I'll try it. I think I'll try it. We'll see. I'll try to play something maybe, but if it doesn't work, you'll definitely be able to catch it later on youtube.com/supergamerboys. That's right. We got the vanity URL. We got 100 subs on YouTube. So now it's just youtube.com/supergamerboys because we're official. We're the real deal here. Also, shout out to our Super Gamer sponsors, Bill Bird, Julie Bates, Brent Fox, and Daniel James. All very amazing people, as well as all the rest of you who support us at all the other tiers there. Thank you so much for all the love and support. We really couldn't do this without you guys. I really appreciate it. If you want to support us like they do, go to patreon.com/supergamerboys. If you're watching on Twitch, the link should be down below, I think. If you're on YouTube, the link's down below. And if you're on podcast services, go to the description, the link's there. So there's links everywhere. You can support us over there, get bonus episodes like our Super Gamer Book Club, which actually may be coming to a close here. And we might have one more episode under our belt. Some kind of updates and announcements. TBA, to be announced soon. And then, this month was Dead Space, really good episode, a lot of fun to do. And the one for next month, originally we announced was Batman Arkham Asylum, but that's changed. We are now going to be doing a Final Fantasy VII Remake spoiler cast. It's going to be me, Adrian, Zetch, and I think one more, I can't remember who Zetch said. And we're just going to be spoiling 2020's Final Fantasy VII Remake, a classic, my game of the year from last year. So I'm stoked. It's going to be a blast. I think one last piece of housekeeping is that coming into April and May, we may be going on a little bit of a hiatus, at least for the podcast. We may still stream a little bit here and there. But if you haven't been watching or listening to our show the last few weeks, JJ and I are both moving. He's moving to Nebraska. I'm moving to San Diego. It's going to be just really busy for both of us. So just to give us a little time to get things packed up, get things moved, and then unpack and resettle in our new locations. We're going to have to take a couple months, at least for the podcast. Like I said, we're going to try to, I'll let me rephrase that. I'll try to do some streams in that time.
Hey, I have the capability. You could hope and dream. I could possibly jump on and stream a little bit of stuff.
That's true. That is true. You could technically jump on your PS5 and stream from there, something good. So, but just a heads up, still kind of figuring out the details, but next episode, which will be in 2 weeks, we'll know for sure that whether that's the last one for a little bit or not. So just keep an eye out for those updates, and keep an eye out for the return of Super Gamer Boys, because we will be back. You may try to get rid of us, but let me tell you, we'll never stay gone. You can never completely get rid of JD. You can never keep him down.
No, and there is a lot of cortisone creams that people have tried, and you know what? I always come back. Yeah. So I'm not worried about it. Now, the thing is that you're moving to Southern California, sunny Southern California. You have had a great opportunity to be able to continue working for the company and working remotely. You really excelled in your position with the company that we're working at, and you're still going to be able to provide great. You have to say positive stuff. You understand?
Okay.
You survived. You basically got through day-to-day operation, and I have an awesome opportunity that I've already shared about moving to Nebraska, and just basically a new chapter in my life, a new adventure. And thankfully, there is going to be a room inside of my new home that is going to be specifically built out for podcasting, a studio that's going to be made up and done right. So then I can do streaming more often, as well as do this podcast. And I will be starting some other podcasts as well. We've got some other stuff that's in the works, potentially under the Super Gamer Boys banner. Some that don't have anything to do with pest control or have anything to do with gaming. So I do have multifaceted talents.
That's amazing. So, JJ knows something else besides pest control and video games. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Some may say he barely had any knowledge in those areas. It's amazing.
I really
to think
don't.
There's more.
I really don't. I know partly, and then I make up the rest of it. And that's pretty much what I do for everything. I also am a licensed shiatsu massagist.
Oh,
is that a word?
You can, it is now. Maybe you can show me the next time. I've
been wanting to karate chop you for a while. They really don't have anything to do with each other. But
man, so in the chat, Homeboy just says in little quotes or whatever, it takes Indie Boy channel takeover banners out of the closet. So it sounds like Adrian, while we're gone, is going to try to take over the channel. So
I love it.
Hey,
you're more than welcome. We would love to have some type of content.
If any of you guys want the login, if you just hit me up, DM me. I'll send you the username and password to keep our channel going, whatever it takes. I'd be more than happy to hook you up there. Dan says y'all look great, so I think that's inferring that both of us look good. So that's
thank you, Dan.
So not just me, or just you. It's both of us. So thanks, Dan.
I appreciate it.
Dan, no, JJ has not moved. That's what we were just talking about, actually, is we will be probably taking a break in April and May because, we will be moving soon. But I think it's time to get into the mailbag. Now.
Did you have a little mailbag tune or whatever you were going to use?
In the post-production process, I will add that in. Unfortunately, on Twitch, I don't have. If I had like one of those little stream decks, I could just hit a button and have a soundboard and it would play it. But I'm not that high tech, nor do I have the money for that. So one day, I'll just play Zetch's voice just constantly on stream saying mailbag. So this question comes from Kajoma01. He happens to be in the chat tonight. What's up, Kajoma? He wrote in on Discord and said, what is your favorite Pokemon? Or a top 3 if that's too hard. Also, JJ, just say Snorlax. He's a giant blue boy who sleeps all the time. You'd love him.
I probably would like a Snorlax, but I'm actually a huge fan of Umbreon. And that's coming from EV. It's an evolution of EV. And
so you're an Umbreon fan. Okay.
I love Umbreon, and it's a huge evolution of EV, and everything about. Okay, look, I just Googled that crap right before. I don't. I was going to try to lie and try to pretend, but
you almost had me.
I looked it up right before because I cheated. Yeah, I don't know anything about
Umbreon. That's a pull. Okay, JJ.
You know what? I'm so full of crap. Yeah, I totally looked it up. I was hoping that I would sound for just a moment shockingly like I knew anything about Pokemon, but no, I don't. I watched Detective Pikachu. I thought that was a lot of fun, and
That's
I talked a lot of trash about Detective Pikachu. So if I was actually going to choose, I know it's the easiest thing in the world for a non-Pokemon fan to choose. I would choose Pikachu because I did love that movie.
Nice, dude. So here's my picks. I have a bunch of picks. I know you said top 3, but I might have 7. But it's hard, you know? It's really hard because there's so many great Pokemon. So obviously, like, I'm a huge fan of Pikachu, especially getting back into the cards. I'm starting my little Pikachu collection. Torchic's my man. That's the last starter Pokemon I ever picked before I never played a Pokemon game again. Let's see. I'm a big fan of Ivysaur. I like Ivysaur because I feel like Venusaur looks too grumpy and gross and toad-like, where like Bulbasaur is just like a little baby toad thing, not as fun. So Ivysaur, I like the middle evolution, but Squirtle's the man as well. I think as far as like legendary Pokemon, Suicune's my favorite. So I know that's more than 3. I'm sorry, but
can you do me a favor?
There you go. There you have it.
Can you do me like the biggest favor ever? Can you tell me that you actually did the same thing I did, and that you Googled all of that stuff because you think it's so nerdy that you would never waste your time? So if you could just tell me, just to save our friendship, just tell me I Googled it right before we hit the on-air button, and I have no clue other than Pikachu because of the movie.
I Googled it right before the show, and I have no idea because I've only seen the movie.
I knew it. Thank you. I knew it. You know what?
No, my fingers were crossed. I was lying.
Oh, no!
I'm sorry.
You
I'm
lied
sorry.
online? You can't do that.
I lied on the internet. I lied.
Oh, man.
No, I love Pokemon. Come on, dude. Everyone knows it. Everyone's sick of me talking about it because that's all I talk about anymore. But I'm not going to stop. Not going to stop. Can't stop, won't stop. In fact, a lot of the stuff I ordered last week from Best Buy, all my new Pokemon cards, got in today. A lot of it, not all of it. So I'm waiting for it all to come in so I can take a nice big picture with my horde of Pokemon cards. It's going to be so awesome. I'm so proud of me.
Oh,
aren't you so proud of me?
What a great cup. You know, you can get that on the Super Gamer Boys store.
SGBstore.com. Check it out.
And it comes cleaner than this one, by the way. Yeah. It doesn't have coffee stains on it. But for an additional $2, we can funkify it a little bit. Yeah.
So there you go, Kajoma. I made up for the lack of JJ's picks there, if that's any consolation. But yeah, I'm a sucker for all Pokemon, really. I don't think I've ever met a Pokemon I didn't like. Alrighty, I think it's time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
I love how Discord cuts it out. As soon as you go high pitch, like it's fine when you're lower, and then as soon as you go woo, it cuts you off. Sorry.
I'm gonna have to change that up. I don't want to lose it anymore. Yeah.
Kachoma in
time for the nerdy news.
Kachoma in the chat just says, and you gave me crap for having 3 in my bottom top 3, man. Because in his he gave me a top 3, and it was like one Pokemon, and then in his third slot he had 3, and I was like giving him a bunch of crap on Discord. So I said the same thing you did, Kachoma. I'm sorry. Cool. Let's get into this news here. First news story is new Nintendo Switch with larger screen 4K output reportedly in the works. That's right. The same Nintendo Switch Pro that's been rumored for probably the last 2 or 3 years is still rumored, but we'll see. Maybe more plausible now. Oh boy, we're losing JJ again. I'm going to keep going. It looks like he's still there, maybe. Can you hear me, JJ? No, he can't hear me, but okay, there he is. Can you hear me now?
No, I can't. I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So Nintendo is allegedly set to
freezing again.
Yeah, Nintendo is allegedly set to reveal a new model of the Nintendo Switch with a bigger Samsung OLED display later this year that will be able to output 4K ultra high definition graphics when in docked mode. As reported by Bloomberg, Nintendo is planning to unveil this new model in hopes that the larger touchscreen can prop up demand in time for the holidays. Samsung Display Company will start mass production of 7-inch 720 resolution OLED panels as early as June, with an initial monthly target of under 1 million units. These displays would be sent to assemblers in July. For reference, the current Nintendo Switch model features a 6.2-inch, 720p resolution screen. This new screen would look as if you extended the current Switch's screen that replaced most of the black bezel around it. It's supposed to consume less battery, offer higher contrast, possibly faster response times and compared to the Switch's current liquid crystal display. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the main upgrade that they're sharing right now with the Switch Pro would be the better screen and then the output to 4K. My question to you, because I know you don't necessarily care much about the specs, do you think this is actually coming out this year? Because I feel like the last 2 or 3 years that's been a thing that people are like, it's coming. This is the year. It's coming this year. Like remember when the Switch Lite got announced, everyone thought, oh, they're going to come out with the Switch Lite and the Switch Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you know what? We've been hearing about this for well over 2 years. It seems like every 6 months, another one of these articles come up where it's heavily rumored. This is not coming directly from Nintendo.
No.
And honestly, I don't think that it's super necessary. They've already created the mousetrap. There's no reason to create another mousetrap right now. I think it's great, the idea of having a better battery and a little larger screen, but like, come on. Like, how big of a screen do you need on the handheld version of it?
Yeah.
I think that the 6.2 is great. You know, it's not broken. So why keep going back to the well? I mean, do you feel like with your Switch that you have right now, do you feel like it's really necessary for you to run out and get one with a little better battery life or a slightly larger screen right now at this moment?
So for me, yes. And in here,
okay,
let me state my argument here. So I am actually stoked now, and now this rumor is a little different. It seems a little more substantiated. There's more like solid evidence. Like Samsung is actually making the screens. Like they've gotten reports saying like, hey, these are happening. So I feel like it's a little more realistic. This could happen this year, and if it does, I'm sold to go out and get it because for me, I bought the Nintendo Switch at launch. My Switch is honestly in a rough shape. It's gone through the ringer with all the traveling I've done, with my son playing it, just general wear and tear. I mean, just think about it. The whole premise of the console is to put it in the dock, out of the dock, in the dock, out of the dock, the screen scratched up, the Joy-Cons going on, off, like that. That wears stuff out. So for me, it's like, oh, well, I've had it for 3 years. There's been a lot of wear and tear. I'm about due for an upgrade. Anyways, it would be great to be able to upgrade to this one. Hey, has a better colors and contrast, bigger screen, better battery life, and I have a 4K TV. If I can output to 4K, that'd be amazing. So for me, it just felt like a general like next step. Like, of course, I would get the Switch Pro because mine's kind of like definitely getting up there in its age. Like honestly, this weekend I actually spent a couple hours replacing all the analog sticks on my Joy-Cons because I'm getting the drift. I have four Joy-Cons, and there was like for $15 I got 4 analog sticks off Amazon, replaced them all because I was getting Joy-Con drift in all of them. And you know, obviously that's an easy fix, but there's other issues with the console itself that can't be easily fixed yourself, you know? Let me see here. Oh, in the chat, Adrian says, still love my Switch Lite. It's the Game Boy perfected. I just want to be able to go to the Lost Woods and Breath of the Wild above 15 frames per second. So, yeah, now I'm trying to remember. Do you guys have the Switch Lite or do you guys have the regular Switch?
No,
JJ?
my son has the regular Switch. I'm not allowed to technically touch it because like you allowing your son to play with his grubby fingers, I've been told not to put my grubby fingers on his Switch. Okay. And then I try to remind him that I paid for it, and he's like, no, Mom did. And then like I usually leave the room with my head held in shame. I was thinking actually about getting a Switch Lite for my daughter. My daughter is 5. Yeah. By the time we're over there, she'll be close to 6 years old. And I figured it's kind of the perfect time. She does like to play with his Switch a little bit here and there. So having her own Switch Lite would be a good option. I'm not ready to put another $300 tool in my son's hand. How much do you think the retail is going to go for this? You think it's going to replace the current generation, or do you think it's going to go for slightly more?
I think it would have to go for a similar price, especially. No, I don't think they could sell it for more, especially in the world that we live in that has a PS5 and an Xbox Series X for just a couple $100 more. like,
Mhm.
especially since you're not getting that much of an upgrade in like quality. So I feel like it'd have to be either the same price or like almost like the standard one will drop in price to like 250 or something, and then this one
See
will be
that?
300, or it replaces it. Maybe it is just like here's the new, because they've with the 3DS they had the 3DS and they had the new 3DS. Maybe it'll be a Nintendo Switch and then the new Nintendo Switch. At best, maybe it'll go like, maybe they could raise it like $50 or something, like 350, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to. Let's see. I see the chat moving over here. Adrian says if it's a significant performance boost plus OLED, I'd be fine with 350. Yeah, like I could see that. Like with the better screen, with the performance, with the
And with being
battery.
able to up to 4K in dock mode, I mean
Yeah,
that is worth a little bit more money. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree completely.
yeah. We'll just have to wait and see. Kojima says Nintendo's going to Nintendo though. They just do what they want because
For
they just
sure,
knew what they want. Do what they want because they know people will buy it. It's so true. Nintendo will do
they
whatever the heck
will.
they want, and people are going to eat it up, and I will too.
You know what? I'm still waiting on Nintendo's mini classic of the Nintendo 64 that never came. You know, they do what they want. They hold stuff back, and when they deliver, they only put out a certain amount of stuff, and they always leave demand in the market.
Mhm.
Nintendo's genius at marketing, like
Yeah.
tremendously genius.
Um. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if that comes. It'll be interesting to see if there's any like new features added to it. Um, I heard someone mention that possibly they'll go the Switch Lite route and where like the Joy Cons don't come off, like it'll just be solid, like one solid machine. But I forget who said that. I forget, it might have been Boba Fletch, might have been Nate. But in my argument to him was then, well, like that's kind of like the whole gimmick of the Switch is being able to like click, click, like take this Joy Cons on and off. And so like it makes sense for the Switch Lite to be one solid unit because it's portable and you stick in your pocket, that type of thing. But for the mainline mothership, main, central console, the Switch, I feel like it should have that feature of switching and clicking, and like that's literally the startup sound when you turn on the console is that click that the Joy Cons make when you slide them on.
Forgive me because I know we've probably already covered this like 20 times on the podcast, and I promise I do listen to you when you talk sometimes. Um, how do you play it the majority of the time? Do you play it in dock mode? Are you playing it on the television, or are you playing it in handheld?
Uh, I feel like I played a good healthy mix of both. Um, if I'm just playing by myself or on a trip, it's obviously in handheld mode. But more and more lately, I'll do stuff with my son, like play Mario Kart or play some new Mario Brothers Wii U Deluxe or whatever that new game is there on. So not new, but came out last year. Yeah, it's on the TV obviously, so we can play together. So it's a mix of both, 50-50 for me. Like I play it on the dock with my son, and we use it when we have friends over. It's fun to pop it up there and play some Jackbox games or Mario Party or whatever. So yeah, a little bit of both. Adrian in the chat says, I'm fine with that having like solid Joy-Cons. I think he's referring to that because it says the creaking Joy-Con over time is driving me nuts. He's about 60-40 docked. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Again, like I said, if there's any new features that they try to add to it, or if it is just a revised Switch. I wonder if they try to rename it. I'm interested in getting it. So it seems to me that you're not really interested in getting it then, right? Like you're just
No,
like, yeah.
no. I'm really happy with my PlayStation 5 right now,
Yeah,
and
I
also
bet you
looking
are.
yeah, and then looking forward to getting the Series S soon in the future. I'll be getting a Series S, um, and so I'm excited about that too because I'd like to have the access to Game Pass. There's too many games that I don't have the ability to play right now, and with my son having the Xbox One in his room, I don't want to go into his room to play the games that sometimes are fun to be able to come on here and discuss with you and playing some of the games that I missed in the previous generations when I wasn't game playing. So,
Yeah.
so I'm excited to get a Series S and test the limits of some of what Xbox has to offer.
Well, speaking of Series S and what Xbox has to offer, that leads right into our next story. Man,
See what I did there?
Segue. That's good.
You're welcome.
That's a good segue
Welcome.
there, JJ.
I did that effortlessly, and it made it look like I didn't even know what I was doing.
This next news story, Xbox adds 20 Bethesda games to Game Pass. It says tomorrow, but I think that was actually yesterday, actually a few days ago. That was March 11th. But yeah, the sale, Microsoft buying Bethesda was finalized at last. They did a big live stream where they had head of Microsoft, heads of Bethesda. They sat on a couch and talked to each other for a little bit while people watched. I haven't watched it yet, but I think the gist of it is basically, hey, Bethesda games are coming to Xbox. And so that's exciting. That's awesome. Here's the list real quick here. Yeah, during a roundtable about the acquisition, Xbox announced these 20 games. Dishonored, Dishonored 2, Doom, Doom 2, Doom 64, Doom 3, Doom Eternal, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Prey, Rage 2, Elder Scrolls 3, 4, and 5, so Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Online, The Evil Within, Wolfenstein, The New Order, the Old Blood, and Young Blood. Of these, all but Morrowind, Oblivion, The Elder Scrolls Online, and Fallout New Vegas will be available through Cloud Play for the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members. So there's a pretty good list of games coming from Bethesda to Game Pass, both for console and PC, which I'm stoked about. Like I that's what I was really excited is like, oh, there's like the Dishonored games. I've never played the Dishonored games, and now they're both going to be on Game Pass on PC as well, not just Xbox. So I can finally play those, as well as like Elder Scrolls. I owned the HD remaster of Elder Scrolls Skyrim and never played it, and I ended up trading it in to GameStop because, I was like, well, I'm never going to touch this because it's a huge game. So now that's like on Game Pass, it's like, oh shoot, well now I have it for free. I can just install and play it whenever the heck I want. So I'm really excited about this. Of that list of games, was there any that kind of stand out to you that you're excited to try out?
Yeah, actually, there's a several, but right out the gate, you already mentioned it, Dishonored. I've never gotten to play the Dishonored games, and I'm really excited about being able to play it. And now having access on some of the Bethesda games coming, I think this is a perfect marriage with Bethesda coming and being now under the umbrella of Microsoft, because honestly, it just opens up the floodgate. Look at all the different developers that Microsoft is getting into bed with now. There's some great games that are
there's so many first party developers now. It's crazy.
Huge. One of the biggest drawbacks for us Sony ponies is the fact that they just don't have the developers. They don't have the first person games that we truly are, the third person games that are the first party, great stuff, AAA style. And they're kind of changing that with all of these acquisitions that they've been pulling out of their kazoo the last few months. So they are coming to play, it's kind of like their butthole. Okay. I was going to say butthole, but I don't want to say like they're pulling this out of their butthole. So I said kazoo. It's like it's like a little.
Yeah, I know what a kazoo is.
Well, it's like a musical instrument, and it makes sounds like farts.
Okay.
So, but see, what I was trying to do was prevent myself from saying they pulled it out of their butthole. I cleaned it up for you. Yeah.
Thanks, I guess. In a follow-up blog post on Xbox Wire, Xbox also said that a handful of these would eventually benefit from FPS boost on Xbox Series X and S. So some of these games are even going to be getting a kind of like Series X and S like upgrade to them, which is exciting. Getting some older games, getting performance upgrades. Xbox head Phil Spencer also gave a firm, specific statement on the future of existing Bethesda games and franchises on other platforms, something that has been a concern for many who play Bethesda titles on PlayStation or elsewhere, in which he has addressed with similar, if not quite as specific, statements in the past. Obviously, and this is a quote from Phil Spencer now, Obviously, I can't sit here and say every Bethesda game is exclusive because we know that's not true. There's a contractual obligation that we're going to see through, as we always do in every one of these instances. We have games that exist on other platforms, and we're going to support those games on the platforms they're on. There's communities of players. We love those communities, and we'll continue to invest in them. And even in the future, there may be things that have contractual things or legacy on different platforms that will go do. But if you're an Xbox customer, the thing I want you to know is that this is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists. That's our goal. That's why we're doing this. That's the root of this partnership that we're building. And the creative capability we'll be able to bring to the market for Xbox customers is going to be the best it's ever been for Xbox after we're done here.
Okay, so that begs the question. And obviously you were probably going to ask it anyway, but let me go ahead and pose it. So having said all that, Phil Spencer's a genius, by the way. Super
Yeah, he
genius.
is. Man.
I'm starting to really I really do like Phil Spencer and like the way that he carries himself and his vision.
Such a cool dude.
For Xbox. So having said all that and what he said about Xbox and Bethesda with this marriage, do you see in the future Bethesda coming out with some amazing games that are previously started on PlayStation platforms still being able to go to PlayStation, or are they going to be specifically married to Xbox in the future?
So as a fan of Bethesda games, I want them to keep coming to other platforms. I want to be able to play on my PlayStation. I want to be able to, never mind. I was going to say I want to be able to play on my Switch, but so far the games that have come to Switch have been mediocre at best. Yeah. I want to be able to play them other places though, as a fan of their work. But holy cow, from a business point of view for Microsoft, they have to keep stuff exclusive. Maybe not everything. And obviously, like they said, at this point, they have contracts with some of their IP that they have to deliver to PlayStation and have to deliver to Switch. But once those obligations are up, I would not blame Xbox at all for being like, okay, we're strictly Xbox now and PC, which that's one of the main reasons I'm so excited I have a PC now for gaming, because I'm always going to be able to play the Bethesda games even without an Xbox. And even down the road, like I would love to have an Xbox one day. I'd love to get the Series X when I have, funds available, then I can play it there as well. So what do I want? I want it to be everywhere, because that's, as much as I rave and rant about like how awesome Sony is, as far as like the console wars go, I want everyone to have games. I want everyone to win. Like, games are just cool. Like, I don't really care one way or another. But I don't know. I feel like they kind of have to lock not everything, but I think there's some like IP they really could and should lock down to continue to sell, at the very least, Game Pass. Even if they're not trying to sell a console, to sell Game Pass, especially once xCloud starts getting big. Like they're already working on bringing xCloud to like TVs, like on your smart TVs and stuff. So all you have to do is hook a controller up to your TV through Bluetooth or something, or play on your laptop or on your phone or whatever you have. So I think it may not be Xbox exclusive, but an xCloud exclusive. I think that they'll definitely do something like that. Let's see here. I see the chat moving again over here. Kajoma says Phil Spencer's a boss. Heck yeah, he is. Homeboy Adrian shouts out, says, nah, unless it's a contract or already somewhere else like Fallout 76 or Elder Scrolls Online, they're staying put. Yeah, so I feel like if I'm reading that right, he's kind of agreeing with me. It'll probably stay on Xbox, or at least in the Microsoft ecosystem. I think I'm reading him right there. Yeah. So that's what I think will end up happening.
Unless they have a previous contract, which is pretty much what Phil was kind of saying.
Exactly.
Was that if they have obligations, they're going to withhold through their obligations.
Yeah, and I think that's in their best interest, because especially since now that they have Game Pass, like they're not even, yes, it's great to sell consoles, but for them, they make so much money off the services. Yeah, just to lock that to Game Pass, be like, hey, you can still technically play it anywhere, just not on your PlayStation. It'll just be on your phone or your tablet or your TV or your laptop.
Can I just say that, like, we we previously we trash talked a lot of the direction that Xbox was taking things, and it didn't make any sense. Like, why are you guys not putting anything into your new console? And like you're saying, it really isn't about the console. It's about the services that they're providing off of the platform, and Game Pass, and eventually XCloud. Taking a bigger chunk of the pie. And I think that they've been absolutely genius picking up and acquiring all these different developers, and they've really, really set themselves up. It's kind of like they're playing the long game. They've
Yeah.
set themselves up for the next 5, 10 years by picking up some incredible developers and getting themselves poised to be that thing with Game Pass. You can have it on your PC, you can have it on a console, you can have it on an Xbox One, you can have it on an Xbox Series S or an X or a One X or whatever the next console they come up with is, with different lettering or whatever, the ABC, the Xbox ABC, that's the next console. It doesn't really matter. You can have Game Pass on all these different platforms,
Mhm.
and eventually xCloud, the way that you're saying, from a smart TV. I mean, honestly, it sounded kind of silly. It's like, why do they not care? I think that they've they've really like knocked it out of the park this generation. And I know PS5 has sold more. Um, you could probably blame that on all the bots buying up everything and stuff like that. They've kind of just taken on from where they left off from the PS4 generation. But I think Xbox is doing an absolutely excellent job this time around
Yeah. I mean,
with their
what's crazy
direction.
is, yeah, what's crazy is like PlayStation has even broke records with the PS5 as far as sales go. Like they are killing it. But I tell you what, like there's nothing like Game Pass out there. Like people are just ravenous for
No,
that. And so, yeah, I think Xbox, yeah, they may not kill on console sales, but there's a lot of people out there who are dying to play games on Game Pass at this point, whether,
hey, can,
yeah, go
can
ahead.
I just I'm sorry to interrupt you, Garrett, but I got to tell you, PS Now is a really great service.
It is.
I was not willing to pay the money for it. Um, I I just think that, man, people are missing the boat by not going for PS Now. If you're a Sony fan, if you're a PlayStation fan, it really is a phenomenal deal. They
Yeah.
just have not pushed it and made it important like Game Pass. It's almost like kind of a nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
Nobody's aware that PS Now exists. You never hear about it, and it's a comparable answer to what Xbox Game Pass is.
I was just sitting last night. My dad and I fired up my PlayStation for the first time in like 3 or 4 months. We're sitting in the living room and we were flipping through PlayStation Now because he was just like, "Well, what do you got? What can we play?" And I'm like, "Well, this is all the stuff I own, all the digital stuff, which is like hundreds of games." And he's like, "This is a lot." And then we got to the end. He's like, and I was like, "Or I have this," and I fired up PlayStation Now, and like, there's literally what they boast like 700-800 games, like over 800
Mhm.
games on there. Obviously we didn't flip through all 800 games, but I was just showing them like all of these ones, anything that's a PS4 title you can install directly on the console and play, natively on the console. Or there's all of these games, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2 games that maybe you missed back in the day. You can stream it right over the internet. I fired something up in like 2 seconds. Like it fires up, and I was playing, it was a newer game, so it was technically a PlayStation 4 game, but I was streaming. I just randomly picked MX versus ATV, which is like a motocross like dirt bike game or something, and it's crazy. Like it fired right up. I jumped right in. I was driving around on the dirt track, and like zero latency, was perfect, spotless, looked great, and it's amazing. And it's just, yeah, it's such a sleeper.
So are you actually you've been continuing your PS Now subscription?
I last year they had a sale where it was normally it's $60 for a year, same price as PlayStation Plus. They had a sale where it was like 35 or $40 for the year, and I jumped on that, and so I bought that. So I think it's probably up in the next couple months. I think sometime like right before summer. So I need to keep an eye on it because I need to kind of reevaluate if it's worth getting. But they are kind of doing a cool thing where every like 3 or 4 months they're adding. I think it's every 3 months they put up like a featured game, and it's there for 3 months, and then eventually they take it down, but then they replace it with another 3 games. So like a few months ago it was Control. Like they had Control on there before it was free on PlayStation Plus and it was on Game Pass and everything. Before that they had God of War. Before that they had Horizon Zero Dawn. So those aren't always available, But like I said, every 3 months they pick like three pretty decent games to be like the featured game of the quarter kind of thing. Come check it out. And yeah, it's just kind of neat how they do that. Cycle through stuff, keep it fresh. Alrighty, cool. Any other thoughts on Bethesda and Xbox? How things are looking over there? Or
No, I'm excited about the future. I think that I'd like to see some stuff still come to PlayStation. We'll have to take a wait and see approach. But again, Phil Spencer's the man, and I feel like we should hang out. You know, I think he'd like me a lot. I know I'd like him a lot. You know.
Well, we're not done with Xbox yet. The next news story is about Halo Infinite. A little update here from the dev team. Now, there was a big, like, 45-minute long Q&A. I did not have time to listen to that. This article from Joe Scrubbles at IGN just kind of gives, like, according to him, the top 3 hits from the Q&A. I'm sure there's more things that maybe would be more interesting to different people, but like I said, I didn't have a lot of time, so this is what we're getting. So according to this article, the 3 big things from that Q&A was that apparently, I just lost my spot in the article. Here we go. Developer, sorry,
make it up.
I'm just gonna make it up.
Just make it up.
No, developer 343 Industries held a fan Q&A in which a number of questions were answered. The most unexpected answer definitely came in the form of a response to whether enemies could be knocked off the new Zeta Halo ring or Halo setting. The answer is yes, replied Troy Mashburn, gameplay director, who went on to offer an anecdote about just that. I can tell you, just recently, I was playing in space, and I happened to be driving in with a Scorpion tank. I came around the corner and was face to face with a Wraith, and just out of pure luck, pure coincidence, I managed to push the Wraith over the edge and just watch it slowly tilt back and just fall into the abyss, which was amazing, unexpected, and such a cool moment that just happened. So absolutely, you can push things off the edge. It's going to be difficult, but if you can manage it just right, you're going to see it. So that's a cool feature, I guess. You can just Spartan kick people into oblivion, just float them off into space. I don't know. It's kind of funny. The answer also covered the facts that the game is going to have a day-night cycle, which that's kind of interesting. So they're really kind of leaning into like an open world game feel. Like it's not just going to be, hey, if you're playing this game for 4 hours straight, it's just going to be daytime the whole time. Like you actually will like have a day-night cycle. Days will pass, things will change. That's kind of new. It's going to affect what type of enemies you run into. There's going to be dynamic weather. So different, thunderstorms coming through, whatever, depending on the biome, which that's the next thing. There's going to be multiple biomes from mountainous to desert to jungle, I assume. Yeah. Sounds really neat for a Halo game. Like they're really like expanding the Halo genre.
Yeah, when I heard it, you know what it actually reminded me of was Red Dead Redemption 2. How the climate would change and the day and night cycle and the weather. And I thought like, it kind of sounds like Halo in the Wild West, with the Red Dead Redemption 2 style. And I really like that. I think that sounds really awesome.
Yeah, there's going to be audio logs to discover. Cutscenes will reflect the equipment you're carrying. And let's see, they're not bringing back dual wielding, for instance, it says. There's some older features that they're not bringing back, dual wielding weapons. And then also, you will not be able to play as elites. He said, similar to the last answer, we're not currently planning on supporting elites as a playable character. The reason is that this is a Master Chief story and a Spartan story, especially in the multiplayer. We want to make sure that we focus on how Spartans battle against each other, and that it feels fair, and that it's competitive, it's balanced. We love elites, never say never, but maybe we'll see it one day. But right now, the current plan is you're going to be playing Spartans.
You could almost hear some nerds crying about the inability to play as elites. Like, if you listen closely enough, you can hear some people complaining.
I'm sure there's some huge Halo fans who are just like freaking out, like, well, I can't dual wield and I can't play as an elite. It's like, calm down. They've already talked about how this game is going to be almost like, not a games of service, but like this game is going to be around for a long time. They're going to continue to update it. So I'm sure in the next like 5-6 years, you'll be able to play it as an elite and dual wield at some point. I'm sure.
And keep in mind, this is also Xbox said that they were going to be similar to like Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone being released free everywhere. That the multiplayer
yes,
was going to be released everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but going to be released for free.
Free to play. Yeah.
Right. And that's pretty fantastic. But
so crazy.
In the article, did they happen to mention any kind of date whatsoever when they thought that this game was finally gonna come out?
So the final paragraph here, for those interested in Infinite, it's well worth watching the full Q&A. The game is now planned for release in fall 2021. Its multiplayer mode will be free to play. And if you cannot wait for more Halo, there's a way of tasting the series right now. Pringles has released a flavor that tastes like an extinct animal from Halo Reach. So Pringles has put out a new flavor that's based off of an animal in Halo. So go get your... It's like hamburger flavored Pringles. Go get them.
That's horrible. So keep in mind that Halo Infinite fall 2021 is when they're claiming it is going to be released. We'll have to wait and see.
A full year after it's supposed to.
That's a full year after they were supposed to come out. And so what that tells me is they kept claiming that it was going to be ready this past November, October, November, and they decided at the 13th hour to postpone it. And here it is a year later is when they're talking about having it come out. I think this is like a Cyberpunk 2077 thing where this game was not anywhere near ready. And they realized like nowhere near ready. And if we would have pulled the trigger on it, it would have been a real crappy game. We did see some gameplay at one point where it didn't look that great.
Yeah, like 2 weeks before it's supposed to come out. And that's when they're like, hey, just kidding. It's not coming out. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. If this came out the same way Cyberpunk did, it would have been a crap show. It would have been so horrible. Like it would have been bad news from Microsoft. I think it was way farther off than they realized, than we realized. And I think I mentioned it to you a little earlier too, when we kind of like briefly talked about this point was fortunately, Microsoft has the power because they're the ones developing it to say, we're going to wait. We're fine. We're paying the money for this thing. We can wait a little bit. But the bummer is like CD Projekt Red, they rely on other people's money. They are not owned by a huge company like Microsoft that backs every project they do. They have investors from all over the place. I'm sure Microsoft has some investors too, and like their game studios, 343 Studios, but not the same as like CD Projekt Red. And so what happened is CD Projekt got pushed into this because the investors are like, we need a game now or there's going to be consequences. And they're just like, okay, here you go. And man, if only it was a different position where CD Projekt was able to have the funds and the consistent funds like a Microsoft game does, or a Sony game does. Like if they could have something like that, imagine Cyberpunk. Imagine if they could have taken that extra year, how great it was. Because even though it was fun, even though like for me it wasn't entirely horrible until actually just recently I tried to get back into it and was having some issues. It was like my first 16 hours was great, and then I jumped back in a little later and got a couple more hours, and boy, it's rough. It hits like an edge on the PC version, at least on my PC, where it's like, oof, it's hard to play this. It just makes me sad for Cyberpunk, but I don't know, excited though for Halo that they were able to realize what was coming up, the issue that they had, and be able to like hold off and be like, we can afford to wait. It's better to wait.
Right. And keep in mind, there were a lot of people who were really frustrated by Halo Infinite not coming out at launch with the Series X, because everybody's like, oh, it's a new console. You have to have a new Halo in the beginning. But hey, good on Xbox and Phil Spencer making that decision that, you know what, we're going to prolong this and we're going to admit that we're not ready. And that's basically what they did. And they got a lot of flack for it, a lot of flack. And as I recall, and I could remember incorrectly, but I remember you were giving them a really hard time. I was totally supportive of them, finishing the game appropriately. But I remember you were doing a lot of trash talking at the time. You don't have to go over it. We just take my word for it.
No, at the time, it was one of those things like my thought process then was, and I feel like Sony was kind of guilty of this too. We have new consoles coming out and there's no big launch exclusive. Like that's a pretty normal thing to have some big game come out at least near the launch of the console, right? And so it just seemed crazy for them to they are pushing so hard to get the new consoles out there and for people to buy them without providing like actual like big hitters to kind of kick off this big party. Like this is a celebration. We got new consoles and there's no like big, crazy game to show off on your PS5 or crazy game to show off on your Xbox Series X. And so that was my thought process in the past, in this situation. Looking back now, and like as you guys just heard me talk the last 10 minutes, obviously I'm on board with it. I'm supportive now, like 100%. Especially seeing the crap that happened to Cyberpunk. Yes, glad they delayed, but in the moment, it's like, oh shoot, like why buy a new console now? And I still kind of feel that way. Like I don't feel any rush to buy a new console at this point because there's still really not enough for me to play on the new consoles. So yeah.
That's pretty much the one drawback to having a new console right now. And I can't speak to like the Series X or Series S right now. But as far as having the PS5 is that there's not been many advancements in the games right now to warrant spending the large amount of money on a new console. Yeah. I think maybe another year or two, you'll see a lot of the fruit from that. I happen to be lucky and get in on the ground floor, and I'll admit it's beautiful, but I also don't have a 4K TV. And I think that if I did, it would probably really help me to really enjoy the experience maybe a little bit better. The graphics still are absolutely wonderful, but really the PlayStation 4, as far as like The Last of Us 2, was really pushing the boundaries of what that console could do right there towards the end with a couple of really great games. Ghost of Tsushima as well looks absolutely brilliant on that and plays brilliantly on the PS4 and the Pro as well.
Yeah. No, it'll be exciting to see what they have planned for this year, both Sony and Xbox, especially Xbox. Hopefully we'll get a release date soon for the new Halo. We'll see. But yeah, until then, stay tuned to our show because I'm sure when it comes out, we'll be talking about it.
Yeah. Garrett, I'm not really sure if it's me, if it's the cold in here, or if it's the excitement over the Xbox Bethesda thing, or are my nipples hard? Can you see them on the webcam right now?
No,
I feel like they are just like pieces of glass that are just kicking it, dude. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you can see that. Are we still live on Twitch?
We are live. We are still live.
Can anybody in the chat see my nipples?
No.
If you guys can see them, please let me know. I don't want to be obscene and talk about, like a body part like that.
Please don't report us either, because I'm pretty sure it's against the terms of service on Twitch. So please.
No, nipples are totally natural, and like that's how babies get fed. Not by me, like men, nipples, but.
Not according to Twitch. It's against the law. Oh no, we have in the chat. Adrian calling for mods. Wait a second, you are a mod. Oh man. Well, it is now time. Oh, now it's time for Adrian's Super Indie Boys. That's right. If you are watching live on Twitch, you might be able to see here in a second. And if you are watching on YouTube, you will definitely be able to see here in a second. So enjoy.
What's going on, Super Gamer fam? You know how we do. Another week, some more indie picks for your face. You know how I do. I don't want to waste too much time. Let's jump into it.
Arbiter, it was you who brought this devastation upon us. Do not repeat your past. Destroy the hero at its source.
Incredible art, super tight and quick gameplay, and a wide arsenal of weapons merged together to form the awesome Foregone. You play as an Arbiter who is tasked with defeating corrupted monsters that resulted from a not long bygone war. But your task is actually much deeper than it seems. This game is packed to the gills with great action, lots of content, and style for miles. Check it out.
No more living weapons. No more experiment.
Ready to chill out? Maybe take a short trip? Well, good, because here's a short hike. This is an exploration game where the object is to hike to the top of a hill to get, well, cell phone reception. What? That's all there is. There's no hidden areas or special characters or endearing scenarios or breathtaking landscapes at all. I promise. Doggy is an insanely faithful homage to the action platformer games of the Game Boy era. So much so, it even mimics the handheld dot matrix display. The gameplay is super tight, there's lots of areas to explore, and tons of baddies to cut down any way you see fit. It's incredible. Don't sleep on this tiny giant.
Red, green, jump and switch.
Boy, do I hope you trust your teammates, because to get anywhere in this game, you're pretty much going to have to share one brain. Joggernauts has multiple players run from one end of a level to the other. The rub? Well, there's different color obstacles that only certain party members can tackle, and they have to be at the front of the line to do so, so you have to switch. In sync. At the same time. Seems simple enough, but even the most seasoned of gamers could have some white knuckle moments on the harder levels. Get some friends together and get going on this one. You're going to need a keen battle intelligence and lightning fast reflexes to last any amount of time in one strike. Just like the name says, every fight is won or lost in just one swift stroke. Playing your defenses carefully to bait the opponent to open up for an attack, or defend and parry and find your opening to slice your opponent down. Don't be fooled though. These opponents are no pushover. This is for the brave of heart only. Check it out. And there you have it. Another week, some more heat. I'll be back next time with a few more picks for you. Until then, be safe. I'm out of here.
Dude, round of applause for Adrian. Adrian freaking kills it every time.
Every time. He makes
good.
our the way that what we're doing look pathetic. Adrian, you're the man.
Yeah.
I love you, dude. That's awesome. Like the way he puts that together is excellent. Like it's always a blast to watch Super Indie Boys, brought to you each and every week by our producer, Adrian Homeboy Holmes. Like seriously,
thank you
good
so
stuff,
much.
man.
That's
Very
so good. Man, yeah, and if you want to see that again later, obviously you can check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/supergamerboys, and probably see it bigger and better audio, whatever. But yeah, definitely check it out. He does a good job with that, and there's a couple of those games that look pretty dope. Cool. He says, thank you. Now get out there and play some of them. Okay. You say so. If you say so.
Doggerai looked amazing. That looked like a lot of fun for me. That style of platformer looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, like old, like it looked exactly like an old like Game Boy game. Not like Game Boy Color, like old Game Boy. Like even down to like having the green dot matrix like color scheme and everything. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, so for me it looked similar to like Ninja Gaiden. That was the kind of game that it reminded me of, and I remember loving that on the old like NES.
Yeah, cool. Well, let's. I think it's time to get into our Patreon ad. All right, everyone, if you haven't already, go check us out at patreon.com/supergamerboys. You can support us over there, starting at just $1 a month. You can get episodes early, ad-free, basically, I'm trying to think what else you get. Oh yeah, that's right. You get a bonus show. You get our Super Gamer Book Club. There is a new episode out that came out this month. Dead Space. We talked about that for about an hour and a half. Going deep dive into the story, characters, everything. Next month we're doing a Resident Evil. Wow, that was weird. Final Fantasy VII remake spoiler cast. You can go check that out. And then some of the previous episodes include The Last of Us, BioShock, Mass Effect 2. Those are all available. Even all the past ones. You sign up now, you get all the ones from the past 6-7 months. Go over there and check that out. Starting at just $1 a month. We have a $5 level and above. You can get the show notes early. $10 level, you're a sponsor, Super Gamer sponsor, where you get the shout outs on the show. And then obviously our top dog producer tier, just like our good friend Adrian, homeboy Holmes. He supports us over there. And that kind of gets you all the earlier stuff, as well as basically allows you to be our boss. Like you're in charge of what we do, down to doing your own segment. He's like, hey, I want to do a segment. I'm like, okay, I'm contractually obligated to put it in here. And fortunate for us, it's amazing stuff. So it makes our stuff way better. So thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you, Adrian, for your support, for your help. You guys are all awesome. And if you want to be awesome like them, remember, patreon.com/supergamerboys. Let's get back to the show. Alrighty, so it is time for What You Playin'. JJ, I have a feeling I know the answer to this, but what you been playing?
Okay, so, so here's the deal. I haven't played much. I did turn the PlayStation 5 on yesterday, and I got the first gaming that I've gotten to do in at least 3 weeks. And I got to play about 25 minutes of Control. That game is absolutely fantastic. It was a PS Plus game recently, and
right, the Ultimate Edition, right?
Yes, the Ultimate Edition, and that game is so much fun, and it's creepy as heck, man. I got to a part where I am dying continuously. I had to get into some housework. I had a little bit of time to kill, so I'm like, I'm going to sit down and try to play. I really should have been working and not actually playing video games, but the system was calling to me. I'm worried that if I don't play it enough, it's going to actually fall apart. I think that's how that works.
Yeah.
So I got to play a little bit more Control.
No, technically, if you don't play it, you're contractually obligated to give it to me. So don't go too long, or else you have to give it to me.
I will continue to keep playing it. But yeah, unfortunately, with the move coming up soon, right now we're paring down a lot of stuff that we own, trying to get rid of a lot of stuff. Over the course of being married for 18 years, we've built up quite a bit of stuff throughout our lives, and it's junk. Every bit of it is. And one of the kids, I'll let you guess which one, we're looking to get rid of them all. So if we could sell that stuff on Facebook Marketplace or throw it away, take it to the dump.
The kids?
I'm not one of them. And I won't tell you which one.
Just one of them? Okay.
No, we're just looking to pare down and get rid of a bunch of stuff. So we have less stuff to carry over there to Nebraska.
Right.
Yeah. So
No, I get that. Yeah, we're kind of in the same boat with clearing stuff out. The only reason my office even fits in the garage right now to record is because we got rid of everything that was originally situated on this wall. We've been paring some stuff down and sorting and stuff. And yeah, I get that. Getting ready to move somewhere. It's like, okay, well, time to clean house. And for me, obviously, we haven't been married for 18 years, and we've only lived in California for 5 years, and we've only lived at this house for about 2 years. So we didn't have a ton of stuff, but it's still amazing just in 2 years of living here, how much like crap you just accumulate. It's
yeah.
What the heck? The only thing I've been playing, actually I've been playing two things. I did forget about something. The first thing though, Vermintide 2. It's a Warhammer game I played on PC. I think it's on everything, but I played this with my brother. I played on stream. So if you want to watch it, go to twitch.tv/the Super Gamer Boys. You can watch our stream on there. Me and my brother playing a little bit of that. He's been playing it a lot and really enjoyed it. And he's been like, dude, you gotta try it. It was on sale one weekend for like $6 or something on Steam. I'm like, okay, I can't like not get it, especially since he loves it and he wants to play it. I want to be able to hang out with my brother, so I'll play this game he likes. Dude, this game is nuts. So it's based in the Warhammer world. So you guys know, like, what, 7 months ago, I was getting big into Warhammer whole last year, painting them, all little Warhammer miniatures and playing the game and stuff. Well, they make quite a few video games that are actually usually a lot of fun. For the most part, they hit. Not all the time, but they have some good ones. Vermintide Ii is nuts. So it takes place in the fantasy world. It's not the futuristic one. It's like elves and dwarves and stuff like that. But the idea is it's a squad game. It's like you play online. So it's you and 3 other people, 4-man squads. And you're running these missions. And there's just like hordes and hordes and hordes of enemies coming at you. That's basically what it is. It's you trying to get through a level while hordes of these chaos armies of chaos, which is like one of the bad guy armies in there. Or there's also like rat folk, like Skaven they're called, which is like these little rat people, and just hundreds and hundreds of them, like just crazy carnage onslaught. Just like you're just hacking and slashing with your sword, your axe, your gun, whatever you got, and it's just like hundreds of these things are coming at you, and you're trying to finish this objective or get to the end of the level. It's chaos, but it's so much fun. It's just a hack and slash mindless game, but man, I had such a blast playing it. Like I said, go check out this stream if you can, me and my brother playing it, because it was a lot of fun. And I already like that world. I like the lore around that world, so jumping into that game where it's just like he was playing like a ranger, like archer character. I was playing like a bounty hunter, demon hunter kind of guy. So I had this really big revolver and like a mace. Like I was just like swinging this like mace around, just like beating the crap out of stuff. Oh man, so much fun. Then the other game that I had forgotten about till just now was I actually mentioned it earlier in the show, but new Super Mario Brothers Wii U Deluxe. So the remastered version of the Wii U game that came out just last year. I never really touched it. I've had it for a long time, and I finally was like, oh, let's fire it up. And dude, that game is a lot of fun. I'd played New Super Mario Brothers Wii on the Wii, but I never played the Wii U because I never owned a Wii U. Like it was a different one with different levels and stuff like that. No one did. I'm sure Adrian did. I'm sure if he's in the chat, he's gonna be like, I did, and it was good.
If anybody did, Adrian did.
Yeah, so playing this version on the Switch was like such a blast. And my son woke up from his nap and he's like, oh, I want to play. Like he loves playing Mario, loves playing Switch with me. Normally we do Mario Kart, but I was like, hey, you know what? Like this is 4-player drop in, drop out co-op. Like at any time you can just like add a controller or take a controller away. So I just added a new, like right in the middle of a map. I was right in the middle of playing and I just like hand him the controller, you hit the button, his character floats in a bubble and he's there playing with me. Basically it was just him dying because he doesn't know how to play. Like I would just keep running and he would just like or sit there until he fell off the side of the map or something. But it was still fun, and you know he's learning the basics. Like he eventually did figure out how to both move the analog stick and jump at the same time. He got over a pipe, and like we were just ecstatic. Trudy and I were just like, yeah, go Shep, yeah, good job. Like we were so happy for him. Like you figured it out. Like 3-year-old son figured out how to use the Joy-Con. I was so happy. I'm so proud of him. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm excited for that one to, play more with him. But then also, it's a fun one. That's an easy one to sit down like with my wife and play, or if we have friends over and play. And yeah,
complete total coincidence. The first time that I was playing with my son and I was able to figure out how to get the analog stick and jump over a pipe, my son threw a big party and parade. He was like very happy, like, Daddy, you did it. Like, yay, awesome. And it's like, it took me a couple of hours, but I mean, it was well worth it.
We got there.
Yeah, it was well worth it when it happened.
Oh man, so good. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing. Some new Super Mario Brothers Wii U Deluxe. They really need to change the name. It's kind of a long name,
That's
a mouthful.
pretty big. That's pretty big.
And then that Vermintide Ii. I highly recommend both of them. A lot of fun. But cool. Well, thank you guys all so much for listening, for watching. If you're watching live, thank you so much. Remember, give us a follow here on Twitch. If you have a Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime, which means you have a free subscription every month. So it doesn't cost you a thing, and you can click that subscribe button down below and subscribe to our channel, and it gives us $5, and it costs you nothing. You know, $5 out of Jeff Bezos's pocket. So go ahead and do that if you can. If you're watching on YouTube, please like this video, hit the subscribe button. Again, that helps the video get seen, so more eyes can get on it, more ears can hear us. We can get bigger and better. And then if you're listening on podcast services, thank you so much for listening. If you can, rate and review us over on your favorite podcast app. Apple iTunes is, extremely helpful. Give us 5 stars over there. That way we can kind of grow in the charts, get more downloads and views over there, or listens, I guess. Patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. Support us over there. You get, episodes early and ad-free, as well as some bonus stuff and some shout outs on the show. Yeah, and we very much appreciate that to help this show keep on rolling. sgbstore.com. You can get sweet merch just like that mug JJ was showing off earlier in the show. We got t-shirts, we got blankets, we got posters, we got whatever you want over there. We got mask. I love my Super Gamer Boys mask. It's the softest, most comfortable mask I've ever wore. Trudy has one. She swears by it. I bought my parents them. They love them. So every time we go out now, it's just all 4 of us look like a
Gamer Boys.
super gamer gang, like we're just out there just to rough some people up. You can find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram, Facebook at supergamerboys. I'm over on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. JJ's over on Twitter and Instagram at
JJ Purdom.
And thank you so much to Star Andrews for our logo. You can check her out on Instagram at Ground Floor Graphics and Facebook.com/Ground Floor Graphics. And that's it.
All right. Well, he's the king of hard nipples, ladies and gentlemen, your host and mine, Garrett Morlang. And I'm JJ Purdom. We are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we will catch you on the flippity flop.